Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi guys, welcome to the real episode 317. I misnumbered Friday's episode when I was speaking. Friday's was actually 316. This is 317. Anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I'm here with you, getting your day off to a good start. Or maybe you're walking on the treadmill and I'm making it go by faster. Maybe I'm putting you to sleep. Not sure how I feel about that, but whatever you're doing, thank you for being here. So have you ever felt like your life is just so hard and everyone else just seems to just be flowing happily through life with no rough patches? In the past, when I was younger, I would look at some people's lives and I'd think, wow, they just have the perfect family, the perfect life. Things just always go so well for them. But as I've grown, I realize that no one gets through life without the natural ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the good and the not so good. If you're human, sometimes life is good, and sometimes it's not so good. Sometimes life is really, really, really good, and sometimes it's really, really, really bad. All of us experience that ebb and flow, and we often think something's wrong with us because we're having a rough patch. But no, there's nothing wrong with you. That is simply part of life. 100% of us experience that. But why does it seem like some just seem to land directly on their feet and keep getting better in spite of rough patches, and others just go into despair and can't seem to recover? Well, because there are things that will help you land on your feet that you can do daily, and there are things that will dig a deeper hole for yourself, and you have to know the difference. And as a side note, I believe it's never too late to turn things around. I don't think it's ever too late for you to turn your life around. I was doing yoga the other day and I was thinking about these ebbs and flows of life and how sometimes you're flying high and feels like life is going so well and you feel beautiful and energetic and things are flowing, and then other times not so much. It can be as small as on a daily how we look and feel basis. Or it can be as big as on a we just had a life-changing tragedy happen basis. Either way, life does ebb and flow. And if things aren't going so great, as long as you give it the chance, it will flow back into being good again. Emphasis on giving it the chance. Now, I also noticed during yoga that my push-ups were a little harder than they were when I left for vacation. We're active on vacation, but I'm not doing yoga push-ups like I do when I'm on my regular routine. So now I have to work back up to where I was pre-vacation. That's life. I don't beat myself up for that because I know I'm going to get right back into my routine and continue that growth. Maybe for you, for example, maybe you went out on maternity leave and your body isn't quite back where you want it to be yet. That's okay. Keep working. You can get it back to where you want it to be. If you've done it once before, you can do it again. My yoga instructor said she was giving herself grace for the baby weight coming off a little slower than she had hoped. She's not throwing in the towel and calling it quits. She's staying the course, which means she'll be right back where she needs to be on her body's timeline. I know for me, sometimes, every other month or so, at that time of the month, I feel bloated and my vision of myself becomes a little skewed, all because of hormones. But I know that and I recognize when it's happening. So I just give myself grace there too, because that's part of life. Wherever you are in life, you can probably recognize the ebbs and flows in your relationships, in your body, in your career, in your daily routines. Every area of our life has a tendency to ebb and flow. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It just means we're human. Because we're human, though, and we only live in our own head 100% of the time and no one else's, we do tend to think that other people's lives look perfect always. They always have the perfect hair, the perfect bodies, the perfect relationships. But I guarantee you that is not the case. But I also guarantee you that if someone does have a wonderful relationship, it's not accidental. They're working on it. If their nails are beautiful, it's not accidental. They're working on it. And the same thing with their body. They're just not naturally lean and healthy. They're working at it consistently. And social media gives us that allure that a person is always perfect. I mean, we think, man, how do they look like that every single day? How are they so happy all the time? How are they on vacation 24/7? Look, listen, I'm telling you, they aren't. And even if you could be on vacation 24/7, that would get old too. Because as humans, we also need the ebb and flow for growth and fulfillment. Here's the thing though. We want the ebbs and flows to be moving us in the right direction, right? So more often than not, we want to be doing the things that move us forward, not the things that cause us to digress. Now, I'm not average, and I don't believe you to be either. If you listen regularly, you are working on yourself a lot. I know that to be true. I love that about us and for us, because that keeps the momentum of our life in a way that's going to keep us healthy mentally and physically. And look, you're going to have times when maybe you have a huge setback. Not just the little daily hiccups. I mean big life-changing setbacks. We all will eventually. That's why my theory is to stay strong and healthy every day, because you never know when you're going to have a big setback, and it's much harder to come back if you're already down and out. But even if we do have a setback, we're not going to just throw in the towel and call it quits, even though that may seem appealing at the time, because then you're kicking yourself while you're down, and you don't want to do that. Now, it's okay, of course, to take a moment and be upset or grieve or rest, but you don't want to pile on and just throw all your good habits out the window. You're strong and resilient, but that doesn't happen by accident. That's part of our work, and it's part of the ebb and flow. We all go through hard times. It's what we do on the other side of the hard times that either helps us get back on our feet or digs a deeper hole. So if you're going through a hard time right now, are you doing things to ensure that you land on your feet? Or are you doing things that are just digging that hole deeper? How can you show yourself that it's going to get better? Sometimes all it takes is one positive thing that you do to show yourself you're going to make it. And not only make it, you're going to thrive, because you can. But no one can do it for you, no matter how much they want to. My older sister, the one I've talked about that lost her husband in November unexpectedly, she is making progress. She's started making green smoothies for herself. She's started really focusing on her passion for making pottery. And she's taking steps to show herself there is life after a tragedy. No matter how much I visit her or anyone else visits her, she has to take steps on her own to show herself what's possible. And trust me, I would do it for her if I could, because I love her. But that's all I can do is love her and support her. She has to lift herself out of bed every morning and remind herself that she can thrive. And she's doing things that are moving her forward. I love that. Now, it'll be slow, but there's momentum in the right direction. If you're going through a hard time, or someone you know is going through a hard time, are you giving yourself any indication that you have it in you to thrive again? And it doesn't just matter with big life-changing things. It matters day to day too. I mean, we want to be giving ourselves the chance to thrive mentally and physically, because we all can. It is possible for you. But no one's going to walk in and do it for us. And just because we fall off the wagon, it doesn't mean we're done forever. Dust off and get back on. That's the ebb and flow of life for everyone. I didn't feel like going into the gym the Sunday after 2 weeks on a sailboat, but I did, and it shifted the momentum right back into my favor. I also would have loved to continue my daily rum drink called a painkiller that's big down in the British Virgin Islands. We were drinking out on the boat every day. But I know that's not what I want for my everyday life, so I got myself right back on my only having a drink twice a week. Life is going to ebb and flow. There's no getting around it. That's why being intentional about our daily life is so important. We don't want to leave our life completely to chance, because then we're just like a boat with no motor and no oars. Wherever that boat flows, even if it's over a cliff or into the rocks, we have no control and we're going with it. No one wants to live life like that, but so many do. Your habits, those are the oars of your life. If they're good, they'll move you forward. If they're not so good, they're probably heading towards rough waters or worse. And maybe you have good habits, but sometimes you set them down to take a break. Just make sure you don't let the boat get too off course, because it will get harder and harder to get back in the right direction, especially if there's a life-changing event. My challenge to you today is to accept that life will have ebbs and flows. There's no getting around it. Be okay with that. And at the same time, be intentional about your daily life. Your habits are your oars. Which direction are they taking you? Are they giving you the chance to truly thrive, or maybe even coast for a minute if need be because of a life-changing event? Or are they running you into the rocks? Be honest with yourself. And if you don't like the answer, simply pivot. You got this. We've got this. Share this episode with 3 people today. We're changing lives and reaching people all over the world because of your sharing. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.